We had mentioned Oscar Piastri, but we're going to see Nick De Vries, Logan Sargeant, and then Felipe Drugovich, who's in for Lance Stroll. So a lot of new faces on the grid. Which new driver, Lawrence, are you most excited to watch this weekend?
Well, I think in terms of who's impressed the most getting to this point, it's got to be Oscar Piastri. The guy's an F3 champion, F2 champion, back-to-back years. Had to sit out last year. Anyone who's watched Drive to Survive will know what happened then when he managed to get himself out of an Alpine contract and into a McLaren, which now doesn't maybe look like such a brilliant move. But, these are long-term decisions, not based on just one set of testing. So he's the one I think most people are eager to find out how good he is. And against Lando Norris, you know that he's going up against a very, very serious benchmark. So if he's close to Norris, then we know that he's really one to watch for the future. But yeah, Nick De Vries is another one. He's pretty old for a rookie. Of course, he's not entirely a rookie because he raced at the Italian Grand Prix last year, standing in for Alex Albon when he had appendicitis. So he's a very experienced rookie coming in with experience in Formula E, experience as a Formula One kind of test and reserve driver, simulator driver, and of course, F2 champion several years ago. So I like that he's getting a chance to show what he can do. I'm not sure what it says about Red Bull's young driver program, that the AlphaTauri seat, which traditionally has been given to Red Bull's up-and-coming talent, is now filled by a former Formula E Mercedes driver who's 28 years old. But, great to see a guy who's clearly talented given a shot. And then, of course, Logan Sargeant, I'm excited about because he's an American driver. We're ESPN. That's going to be fun. But, we'll have to wait and see how he gets on. I think he's got the toughest job of those three permanent drivers coming in this year, just because the Williams is probably going to be towards the back of the grid. And as we've seen in previous years with Alex Albon, he's no pushover. Nicholas Latifi, struggles to get close to him. So, Logan Sargeant has got to, make the most of what he can, because if, say, there's unreliability early in the season and he gets a shot at points, if he can get them early on, it will be such a big boost to his confidence. So, fingers crossed for him too.
Yeah, Lawrence stole all the answers, but no, it's all good. It gives me less to say. But I think on De Vries, I'm so excited about him. I think that he for ages it seemed like De Vries is just another talented guy that didn't make Formula One. And talking to AlphaTauri at the weekend, they were saying, obviously, does it feel like you've got a rookie? And they said, well, not really. He knows what he's doing. He had 3 Friday practices last season with 3 different teams, one of which was Williams, who he raced for in Monza. And they were saying that, and this sometimes comes across badly, I think, when it's written down, but they said he's already being quite bossy, quite demanding with what he wants. And that actually is something that not a lot of drivers immediately do when they get into Formula One. They're quite timid. They might not throw their weight around. And I think that De Vries has been around in other series so much. He knows the type of car he likes. He knows how to extract the best from a car. And I think that that's a really encouraging sign for them, because I think one thing with Yuki in the other car is that maybe he's not always completely certain what he wants. I think that it's going to be interesting, actually, that dynamic, because I think De Vries could very quickly become the kind of the lead driver there in terms of just consistency. So I'm really excited about him. People have talked about, will Ricciardo get a shot at Red Bull in the future? But if De Vries knocks it out of the park at AlphaTauri, Max is a really big fan of De Vries. They're good friends by all accounts. So you could end up in a situation where Red Bull look at it and say, well, we might as well just go completely Dutch for the foreseeable future and stick him up there. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but that, Lawrence mentioned the driver program. I think De Vries is in a good spot. And even if it's not Red Bull, I think he's gonna, if he establishes himself this season, I think he'll be in F1 for a few years yet. So just a late bloomer. We love a late bloomer as well. It's a great story.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.